feel any better, I think both of the presidential options will end up failing in the end. And on the bright side, one of them can't run next time. Regardless, one of them will not be able to win again. Yeah, I think in this case you would want Trump because Trump has a better shot at running a third time if he loses. So you would probably want Trump to win over Biden. Because Biden would be too old to win a third term. He'd be 86. And Trump wouldn't be able to win again. And then you'd be stuck with whoever the next generation of terrible people is. Which at this point will probably be Harris and DeSantis. Unfortunately, DeSantis is 1,000 times worse than Trump, though. Like, you think my opinions on like abortion and stuff are bad. Boy, you don't want to be around that guy. I will say this. The problem with me politically is I don't agree with either side entirely, so I just typically don't vote. If I had to pick one, I'd probably slightly more conservative than not, but it's not by a large margin. And my opinions on like mental health and stuff don't lead me to voting for a good candidate very often. Because I think we overprescribe and overdiagnose drugs for children because they get sad sometimes, like most human beings do. So, like, that's not good. And instead of, enabling these people, we should maybe, fund programs to help people rather than just give them drugs and tell them good luck. Also, don't give your kids puberty blockers because you want to dress them up in a dress.
What I was after. Appreciate the quick checkout. Just what I was after.
This is perfect.
Exactly what I need.
That pasta? Do we sell pasta now?
Exactly what I need.
Just these things.
It's bean soup, obviously.
See you next time.
I gotta go in a few minutes.
Exactly what I need.
See you next time.
Exactly what I need.
Yeah, that's fine.
Too much. Thanks.
This is
Thanks. I think I'll use my credit card.
just these, thanks.
No.
Yes, found it. This is just what I need.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Also, I think transgender movement is a joke. How many ways can I piss her off today? Let's find out.
This is perfect.
My opinion on transgenderness and people in general is typically the same as abortion. I don't want anything to do with it, but whatever you want to do yourself. Just leave it out of my line of sight. Don't force me to accept it. I'm not going to call you a helicopter because you feel different.
Just this.
I don't have a problem with gay marriage or anything like that.
Just these. Thanks.
Joe Biden?
Exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely zero issues with lesbians, gay people, anything like that. And if you want to call yourself transgender, that's fine. Just keep it out of children. That's it.
this was on my list. Thanks. Bring these up. This is just what I need. Bye.
So I agree with you. You don't just wake up one day and decide you want to be a gender. Tell that to like every, like, the problem with the internet, right, is it gives a voice to stupid people. I'm sure there are legitimately people out there who have a disease or a mental health issue, gender dysphoria or whatever, that actually have problems and actually have a thing. However, there are far more people, the vocal minority, so to speak,
This is
of
perfect.
people doing it for attention or because it makes them feel better, because they get attention and special treatment and all this stuff. And it's shit like that that bothers me. When you start bringing it into schools and you have these parents who want to have their kid be different, they want their kids to be different and, you know, be special, so they dress them up in a dress, make them take these drugs and all this stuff to make them special. It's not just transgender. Same thing with like people with autism or ADHD or depression, quote unquote.
Thank you.
It's a lack of research. So there is no other. We consider gender dysphoria a mental disorder, correct? It'd be like schizophrenia or any other mental disease, correct? Like depression. What is gender dysphoria? It's classified as a... Great, cool. All right, let's follow that train of thought. Why would we treat that differently than any other side effect to another disease whatsoever? Because we do. You don't. Okay, so okay, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. That is not what I'm talking about. Okay, I like the color pink and purple. Doesn't make me gay. Great. I agree with you. That is fine. What I am saying is we enable these people to dress like clowns and act a certain way and treat people, expect to be treated a certain way because they feel different. And that's fine to feel different. That's great. But let's not pretend that it's not a mental effect. What we have no research into it. We don't know what the hormone changing people's hormones to their bodies. We don't know what that does to people because we can't research it. Why can't we research it? Because anytime anybody tries to research it, oh, you're being a bigot. That's not fair. Accept them for who they are. Be body positive. All this shit. Okay? We don't not in okay, the amount of young people, our generation specifically, taking hormone replacement therapy or blockers or all kinds of things and doing all cutting their dicks off and having a gaping wound under their legs because they feel different one day is ridiculous, and there's no research done into treating people with this problem. You can't tell me people would rather be ridiculed and bullied and disgraced their whole lives and wouldn't rather just be either be gay, be transgender, do whatever you want, but let's research and see if we can help these people's quality of life be better, because their suicide rate is fucking 40-60%. Okay, maybe it's not. Have you seen a single okay, so you were on the TikTok, I'm sure you've seen these people who are like, oh, I'm so happy now that I've transitioned, etc., etc. Have you seen people who are not happy? Have you seen people who come out of that therapy worse? Have you seen people who, there's this girl who got tricked into transitioning, quote unquote, taking all these drugs as a teenager because she felt a little different sometimes and was pressured into it, like most people. If you're an adult, it's different. If you're our age, it's whatever. But when you have these 15, 16-year-old kids, her parents and her teachers and her peers saying, oh, you're special. She's given this special treatment. And she's like, that made me feel, welcomed and loved and stuff. So I, pushed it all of this. She lost all of her hair. Her eyesight went bad. She gained a bunch of weight, wasn't able to exist. And then when she finally did detransition, she could never go back. Her breasts were removed, everything. Her life was miserable afterwards. Okay. It's effects like that on people. That's the problem I have with it. It's not people who are adults can make that decision. But when you start, do you remember what you were like when you were 16? Because I do. I was a hormonal, ridiculous mess, and I would have believed anything anybody told me if it got what I wanted. Okay, if I got attention or whatever, that's what I'm saying. If you're an adult and you can make your own decisions, that's perfectly fine. Do what you want. Okay, I'm not. I'm very different. I was much more naive and much more susceptible to stupid things. Everybody is different, yes. But generally speaking, children are fucking stupid. So maybe don't push this transgender, gender dysphoria crap into our schools, and rather maybe do some research and talk about it like we do schizophrenia or depression or any other mental disorder that is different from, I hate to use the word normal because everybody's normal in their own way, but outside of the realm of regularity, where people have a generally established thing. I'm not saying all girls have to wear dresses and all boys have to like monster trucks. What I am saying is, let's not do physical changes to people's bodies before we know and do research into this problem that this country has. Because it is a problem, and we're more focused on, do I identify as that monster truck or that train over there? Do I want to suck a dick today or do I want to sleep with myself? Rather than, hey, the politics of our country is fucked. Our president is between a sleepy old dude who can't form a coherent sentence and a multi-millionaire rapist piece of shit. So instead of focusing on the real problems of this country, like hunger, homelessness, unemployment, all the problems, we're too busy. Oh, you gotta let me tell your child how I cut my own dick off and do a dance in front of them. See my problem here? Yeah. No, I agree representation is important. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. See, that's perfectly fine. Cool. So you see, you're misunderstanding my point. I am perfectly okay with that, right? Because that's what we do with any other thing. We teach people about how everybody is different and how you can accept these things. What I am saying is, you don't need a public fucking speaker coming into your schools and saying, hey, it's okay. Don't encourage a behavior because it's the trendy thing to do. Explain it like we don't. Here's the problem: is we treat everything else that you just described. So depression, all that stuff is in a medical textbook and described as this is outside the realm of normality. There are things we can do to help you feel better about yourself, whether you become normal, quote unquote, or not. It's fine, but we don't treat transgender and gender dysphoria as that. We treat it like we treat homosexuality or heterosexuality or whatever. Okay, we treat it as a choice rather than a mental problem people actually have. And when you do that, when you treat depression, we don't go to kids and say, hey, you're depressed, I want to give you drugs. And they're like, well, hold on. But we don't have kids coming to us who were